Hello, everybody. How's your day? I hope you guys are having a boa tarde, a good day. No, bom dia, a good morning. Good morning. Boa tarde is kind of like afternoon, stuff like that. Anyway, sometimes, I'm still learning Portuguese. Sometimes it kind of like, I get things jumbled up. But anyway, this is your man Larry, the American Brazilian, back with another interview. This is our second interview. And today we wanted to do something a little bit different. Typically, we talk about people who are already dating people who are of a different culture, different ethnicity. And so today we want to talk to somebody who's not yet ventured into that lane, but we just kind of want to get their take on what it's actually like dating here in America. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my man D. You can come on up, D, and greet the people. What's going on?
All right.
Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, we're just going to ask you a series of questions, and we're going to try to tap into the heartbeats of people who may have, echo the sentiments that you might echo in regards to what's it actually like dating here in America. And as we always say, not every woman here is bad. Not every woman abroad is good. However, the success that I found, hence the Brazilian flag. So we just want to kind of get his take. So let me just start it off by saying this. You're a single guy. You drive nice, you live good, you're gainfully employed. What's being single like here in America? Like, describe it.
Well, Larry, it's rough. I mean, you meet a lot of women who, on surface, they really act like they're not superficial. Mm-hmm. But when you get down to the core and the crux of who they are, by sitting and spending time with them, you realize you met somebody who is superficial at their core, who want they're materialistic. You got to be this tall, this tax bracket, and driving nice.
So there's a common theme. I know Kevin Samuels, shout out to Kevin Samuels, he talks about that. He talks about, the 3 6s, 6 foot tall, 6-figure income, and we know what the other 6 is. So, and of course that's a small percentage of guys. However, so based on what you described, that's a common theme based on the women that you come in contact with.
Yes, that is a common theme.
So now, is that a, common theme amongst all women of different tax brackets? Is that more professional? Is that more like blue collar sisters or what?
I would say it's a mixture because I've dated people who had their own business. Mm-hmm. I've dated people who've been professionally employed, such as nurses, attorneys, and it's about the same.
So let me ask you this. I know for me, when I was a single guy, there were a few dating sites that I was on. And the crazy part about it is the more professional the sister was, the more freaky they were. Are you on any dating sites? And if so, you can feel free to talk about the dating sites and then just kind of like go over your experiences on those particular dating sites.
Well, Larry, since you've probably been gone, there are a bunch of them out there now. You got Bumble, you got Tinder, you got, of course, you got the Match.com, you got the eHarmonies. You also have a couple of other ones that are not well known, and Christian Mingle. I forgot about Christian Mingle.
I met some freaks on Christian Mingle. Go ahead.
but it's one of those things. It's rolling the dice. It's really you don't know what you get until you actually sit in front of that person.
So, based on what you're saying, it seemingly takes a relatively short period of time, maybe a conversation, to kind of decide or decipher if somebody is genuine, if she's somebody that's for you, or if somebody that is like, I pass.
Right. I mean, I would say it takes definitely not just talking over or texting over the phone. You definitely want to meet in person, meet somewhere neutral, somewhere in those people where you can kind of feel their energy. You can kind of discern who they are.
There's a chick that I dated, and this is a while before I had met my wife. A friend of mine set me up with her. This chick, she was, well-to-do, a practice. She was a millionaire, right? That never really impressed me. I can appreciate your accomplishments, but not covet your possessions. That stuff don't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything to me. But and you can tell me if this was your experience. When I had a conversation with this chick over dinner, number one, I took her out to a pretty decent restaurant, and I didn't know if she had home training or if she was just trying to, try to milk me or whatever. She ordered a lot of drinks. She ordered a very expensive meal, which it was cool because I was intending to pay anyway. I was hungry, and we just kind of met up there. But she went over this litany of things that the person that she would date has to have. They can't ask her to pay for a meal. They can't just kind of show up at her crib, which, I mean, that's just common
sense.
She
was testing you, bro.
Yeah, but and it's so funny because kind of probably around that third prerequisite that she had, I just smiled, and she probably thought that I was trying to meet those categories, but I smiled because I said to myself, sister, you and I would never share the same air again, not in the same space. And of course, that's the last time I actually saw her. Good person. And then the funny part about it is this. When I had a conversation with her, she asked me, did I think that we had chemistry? And I told her no, we had no chemistry at all. And she was shocked. She said, excuse me. And then I went over the list of things that I thought were unfair that she, had. But to the sister's credit, you know what she asked me? She said, well, what advice you can give me if I go on another date with somebody? And what I told her is this: stop demanding so much and giving out so little, number one. Number two, stop. If you go out with somebody, respect the fact that this person is paying. You don't just go and just hog everything. You don't do that. That's disrespectful. And most men who see that thinks to themselves, okay, this is a gold digger. This is somebody who's an idiot. So I'm gonna leave alone. Have you ever had that experience? You took somebody out and they just kind of decide they want to order everything on the menu, even to the point where they want to order something extra?
Uh-huh.
And how'd you respond to that? I mean,
they didn't get another date after that. That was it. You're only gonna get one time.
One time, that's it. You good for one day.
You blow that one shot. I mean, fool me once, shame on you. My grandma used to say, fool me twice, shame on me. So I've learned you're not gonna get another chance to keep messing me up or playing with my emotions.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so we talked about the common theme amongst the sisters that are here. We talked about the dating sites and the kind of volatility that's there. It's more missed than hit. How are you in regards to dealing with women? Let me ask you this, because this is what I'm about to ask you. I was about to ask you to describe the perfect woman for you, but let me kind of like unpackage that, okay? Because I'm gonna make it easier. Not that I need to, but I'm gonna make it easier for you. Okay, so do women, like, our children, if a woman has a child, or are there any things that are deal breakers? Are children deal breakers? Are certain issues that they might have, background? I mean, is any of that a factor? Describe the perfect.
I mean, if they had a child, I don't mind a child. Now you're talking about multiple children, then we would have to kind of delve into that. How many children? What are their ages? And what's the relationship with their fathers? And why didn't you marry their father? Now,
you just said something that was very, very key, and I know he's probably not watching it. I'm not using his name for clout, but Kevin Samuels talks so much about how there are certain things that, as a man, when you're dating a woman or when you're going out and she might have a child, there are certain things that we want to know as to why you didn't marry that guy. And one common thing that a lot of guys look at as a deal breaker amongst the women that they dated or they have been seeing is this: when the woman starts bashing the man, your points go down. Or if I have this, we just didn't work out. We don't really buy that. There's a reason as to what happened. Nobody just say, I like you, you like me, let's have sex, let's create a child, and this is not working, let's go our separate ways. No, it's a little bit more intricate than that. And when a guy, because I've been in a situation like that, when I took a woman out, And I asked her, well, what happened? She began to throw this barrage of insults and ad hominem attacks about the guy that she had, her baby's father. And unbeknownst to her, in my mind, again, I was like, I'm just smiling. And you and I will never share the same. Because all I could see is, number one, there's two sides to every story. Number two, I don't know his side of the story. And number three, if I was in that situation and things didn't work out with us, I would be that same bum, deadbeat, or whatever she was calling that kid. So I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to take
No, you're good, Larry. I would say, I mean, when I hear that, I mean, I'd like to know the relationship. Of course, I feel like credit plays a major part in that, because I'm not going to do everything, break my back, and you haven't done nothing. You haven't prepared. Because men are simple. I heard a wise man say, you probably heard the same wise man say it. Men are simple. Men need three things.
Three things.
Peace at home.
Peace at home.
Piece of food.
Piece of food.
And piece of tail.
Yes, sir. And if we have that, we're good.
We have that, we're good.
So,
and for us, for most of us, I'll say most of us who are involved, we're not. While you think about, I would kind of lean toward my own race, but when you want peace, you start, so to speak, coloring outside the line. You will look toward a woman of another nationality, whether she's Brazilian, whether she's German, whether she's Dominican, whether she's Mexican. As long as they make you happy, then that's your choice.
Yeah, now, I'm gonna go back on something that you said. So when you talked about credit and things of that nature, this is just kind of how I perceived what you said. It had more to do with discipline. Like if that person is disciplined enough, because if she's disciplined enough to take care of her own personal responsibilities for herself, then if she comes into a relationship, then she'll be disciplined enough to provide for you as a wife what you need as a husband. Right. So did I describe that correctly?
And Larry, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there isn't room for grace in the situation where your credit is not the best, but you're working on it. I can work with that.
I got you.
But for those who you gonna come in, you jacked up, all you offering me is some tail. That's only 1/3 of the equation.
And I think most women, they don't necessarily realize that for a man, we kind of know for the most part, we know what we want, and we can kind of recognize it fairly quickly, as we say in Portuguese in Brazil, muito rápido, very quickly. And so, for the most part, I know for me, I wanted peace. I wanted somebody who will be a good wife. And of course, the physical aspect, it goes without saying, because I'm a heterosexual man and I like women and I like my wife and she takes care of me very well. I digress. But so back to another thing which you said that if you have been trying something and it's been consistently not working, if you want this, then that the desire for peace will cause you to kind of color outside the line. So in other words, it's something that I talk about a lot. I like Chilean sea bass is my favorite fish. So I know where I am here in Florida, I can't go in the river and find Chilean sea bass. So I need to go in Chile or off the coast of Chile so I can get the type of bass that I want. So that's kind of what you're saying. You need to go somewhere to get what you want if you can't find what you've been looking for where you are.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, cool. So let me ask you this, and this is a question and I'm gonna put you on the hot seat right this. So where are you in regards to possibly trying something different? And before you answer that question, let me say this, and I tell everybody, I don't necessarily, I am not a dating coach, okay? So I don't, try to, well, I ain't gonna say, let me say this. If you my boy and we cool, or if you somebody to just say, hey man, do you know, and I can kind of gauge you as a solid person, and I know this person and they're pretty cool, then I don't mind trying to make somewhat of a pseudo connection. But of course, that's not my profession. I'm not a dating coach. But I have definitely thought about some women for my brother here. I thought about some sisters for another brother that we have, and maybe things will work out, maybe things won't. But where are you in regards to possibly has the lack of peace in a sense of and success in the sense of dating in the U.S. market cause you to possibly be open to looking into another market?
I would say undoubtedly. It makes you just like, because the definition of insanity says doing the same thing and you're hoping for different results, and it's insane. So now it's like, nah, I ain't gonna keep doing this way. This ain't the desired effect. This ain't what we doing.
Now, when a lot of times the lack of like you said, doing the same thing, and of course, we've all been guilty of doing the insanity route. But when you get to that point where you have kind of hit the wall, so to speak, and you say, you know what, okay, obviously if I'm going to get what I really want, I'm going to have to do something different. Have you actually attempted to do something different, or are you at the beginning stages of because before we have an action, it first has to be a thought, a list of ideas. Where are you in that process?
I'm starting more to focus in on everything. I'm starting to really explore the different options. And I can say that my brother over here has been throwing me a dime, so to speak. For those of you who are sports fans, a dime is an assist. So he's been throwing me dimes, pocket passes.
Oh yeah.
So we gonna take some of those pocket passes and see
if we can make something go, huh?
What's gonna happen?
See if we can put a layup in, huh?
See if I can get a nice little score.
So, let me ask you this: what would you? And I know you touched on that briefly in the sense of doing something different and doing the same thing, expecting different results. But what advice would you give to guys like yourself? And before you say that, let me describe how I perceive you. From a physical standpoint, you're the type of guy that I'm sure you can, because I've seen some of the people that you dealt with, saying you dealt with some attractive sisters. So from you work out, you're a tall guy, you drive good, you live good, you got a job, all of that stuff. So for guys who are, let's just say, in the same arena of life you are, from a standpoint of maybe not necessarily be physicality, but from a standpoint of gainfully productive, I'll say it that way. What advice would you give them, in a sense, if they say, okay, I want companionship, but it just seems like I keep running into the same thing? Like, what advice would you give them?
I would start by saying, what are you attracting? Because like Larry said, I work out primarily for my health, but the benefit of working out is I look better when I'm healthier, when I'm eating good, when I'm working out, and I'm not stressed. I look better. So I would say, work on you, and then work on what you're, attracting, because I just believe that what we put out there is what we're gonna get. And don't get me wrong, do I think the energy I'm putting out there attracting some of these sisters? Could be. So I decided to say, hey, let me pull back, take some time, work on me, and then if it's not me, then it's time to maybe change my focus over to another culture of women.
Now, speaking of another culture of women, and I'm not going to share in depth, but and it's nothing crazy or whatever. But I want to draw a contrast.
Okay.
Again, we're not bashing women in America, so don't be an idiot and take it that way. We're just kind of like talking about the lane that we're in, and the success and the peace and the tranquility that we found, right? So you've gone to the Dominican Republic before.
Yes, I have.
Describe the women there, the attitude, the femininity, the physicality, from a common theme. Okay, let's say 1 out of 10 there, and describe and include the mentality, right? So the mentality, physicality, femininity, and physicality there, and the physicality, the mentality, the femininity, and some other minute that I said that I probably forgot here. So describe those contrasts.
From the moment you step foot in the Dominican, you're gonna see, I would even venture to say, you're gonna start seeing 8, 9s, and 10s right off the bat. I mean, and they're big on family, and they're big on treating you like you're the only thing in front of them. They treat you like a king.
Now, it's interesting, that part of it, and I want to unpackage that, because a lot of times when you talk about, and I don't know why it's just the Dominican, well, it's not really just Dominican Republic. People think people go to Brazil just to trick. People think people go to Dominican Republic just to trick. Costa Rica, Colombia, anywhere in Latin America. But you went over there and you saw people, you saw relationships, you saw people who were just kind of common people, not pros. So are you saying that the women over there, that the physicality was decent from a standpoint, from a ratio more higher than 5 out of 10? The women were in shape, the mentality, they were kind of easygoing and cool?
Yes, for the most part. I mean, don't get it wrong. I don't want any of you guys who like, starting to venture out, you got your passport, you want to venture out. Don't be fooled. Don't be green.
Yeah.
You go over there, you're going to have some ladies that's working.
Yes.
And they're going to make every fantasy you have come true.
They call it the girlfriend experience. I know for partners that I have that used to go to Brazil back in the day, they would say that they and I think Patrice O'Neal, rest in power, Patrice O'Neal, he used to talk about, he said that when he went to Brazil, he got the girlfriend experience, and that completely blew him away. And people that I know personally also had that. But we're talking about of course, just relationships. I grew up with a mom and a dad, so for me that's been a common theme. When I think of relationships, I think of one person and another person, 2 people. But okay, so how long were you in the Dominican Republic?
I was in the Dominican for a whole week.
And you enjoyed it?
Oh, I enjoy it. I hated coming home.
Okay, so now that's another thing. Now, for one, I want to give a shout out to Taylor Made Dreams. Taylor, Brazil is my thing, but Dominican Republic is your thing. And from what I've seen and from what I've heard, I got a buddy named Kevin that he works remotely. He lives in the Dominican Republic, and he lives like a king. And every time he comes back, he said his heart just drops, because he's coming back to what we call America, we commonly refer to as the Matrix. No hate applied to that. It's just kind of like we understand how things work here in this country. So when you came back, you were a little bit like, oh man, it's just like you leaving paradise, coming back to the grind, the hustle and bustle.
Right. And so just to put it all in context, I had a friend I went to high school with.
Mm-hmm.
She may run across it. Shout out Leah. Leah is Dominican, and Leah's father is African. So when I went over to the Dominican, I began to understand it and begin to really unpack some things for me, because I remember how she was in school, remember how she was brought up. And then she said, "You got to see my culture." I was like, yes, I did. Everybody's, it's pretty inviting. I actually met a cousin of mine, a blood relative, over in the Dominican for the first time, who's been living over there for a couple of years. And you're talking about a gentleman in his 60s.
And still over there.
He over there right now. I just looked at a post that he posted on Facebook. And he always will either send me a message by Messenger, or he'll call me by WhatsApp, and he'll say, "Hey, Cuddy, when you coming back over here? I got room for your family. There's a room over here. You can come and stay as long as you want."
And then let me ask you this right here, because let me say this. I'm going to say something I'm going to ask you. I remember a post that my wife did, and she was talking about, and I know to be true, how Latinas, if you're going to deal with a Latina, you must have family as a priority. It has to be a number one. It can't be anything over and above family. And based on what you said, it just confirmed that is pervasive throughout Latin America. Let me ask you this. When you got back from the Dominican Republic and you touched down, and you knew you had to deal with women here, was there a bit of an apprehension, or did you just kind of fall into the same rhythm that you, or did you look at people differently? I guess.
Bruh, I'm gonna tell you right now, you're jaded when you come back, because things that happen over there, and then you come back and you be like, wow, I gotta come back to this. I gotta deal with this level of just superficialness. I gotta deal with this pretense.
Yeah, man.
And you're like, I don't want to do this. I'm just tired. I'm tired. And so, because man, I'm telling you, when you sitting at a beach and a stranger just walks up to you and start massaging your shoulders, you're like, whoa.
Does something to you.
Hey, it'll mess your mind up. You be like, hold up.
Man, I am not to go off on a tangent, but I will say this. I enjoy Brazil so much. I'm actually looking for property to purchase in Brazil. My wife and I. My wife is from just a gorgeous place in Brazil, big city. You would think, and everybody that I show, and I invite you to look it up. The name of the city is Araçatuba, or if we say it without the, it's Araçatuba, and it's in Sao Paulo State. It's a very beautiful place, very big place. I think it's like 475 million square miles or something like that. And there's only 193,000 people living in that place. So the theme is very, I wouldn't say slow, but it's very easygoing. They have a lot of amenities, have great restaurants, great night scene. They have a country aspect of it as well as a city aspect of it. And so we're definitely looking, you know, my desire is to live there a portion of the year, live here a portion of the year, and just kind of keep things rocking in the free world. But anyway, man, look, anything you want to say to the people, any closing remarks you want to give?
Well, Larry, here's a funny story. So a friend of mine, the friend who actually got me to go to the Dominican, he got another one of his friends to go, took him to the Dominican for the first time. This guy ended up meeting somebody over there half his age, and he's married her.
Now you didn't tell me about that. Who really?
Yeah.
Wow. So how's their relationship?
I mean, he's still going back and forth, I guess, till everything gets straight with immigration. Mm-hmm. He's still going, even during the pandemic.
Wow.
He just came from over there.
Man, let me tell you this right here. I swear is a strong word, right? I stand by what I found in Latino women, you know, particularly my wife. Prior to my wife, I still stood by them because it was a situation where everything that I wanted in a woman, those attributes that I, as a man, needed to have, as a husband, had to have, were there. They were present. And again, it's not everybody, but it's a common theme. And so, Viva Brazil. Anyway, yeah, man, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up, bro. Okay. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. And listen, we're going to keep you guys posted as to the progress of my brother, because we're going to try to get him lined up. I digress. And we'll kind of let y'all know what's going on. So in the next interview, we're going to have something like really special for you guys. So definitely tune in. You know, we want to try to do these interviews as often as we possibly can. But for now, we're going to say ciao, abrazos, hugs, muito abrazos, beijos, kisses, and até a breve. We will see you soon.
And if you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Yes, and hit that share button, hit that share and hit that notification bell so that you will be notified every new video that comes out. My name is Larry. I am the American Brazilian. Até a breve. É verdade.